And we are live, I think. Let's see. Yes, we are. I love being able to check on my phone. It has been one fucking hell of a week. And I can finally see what wombats meant. I had a bit of a nap this afternoon after work, and she said that I had some serious Wolverine hair going on, like the mush and everything coming together there. Now I know what she means. I didn't actually look in the camera because I'm really good at this shit. You know, I pay attention to everything that's going on. All right. It has been a fucking long week. It has been a very long week. But regardless of that, we're all still here. We're all still good. Things are working. Games are able to be played. And if I press this button, nope, it doesn't want to work. Okay, so if that's the only failure of the week, like really, I'm okay with it. Let's just hit this instead. And yes, we're back to demon killing. I know I am predictable. I'm easy like that. Yeah, probably the best and easiest thing to say about me. I'm easy. We're just cracking on with more Diablo. Doing some. Well, actually, there's the whispers in the wind thing. I think last time I was playing on stream, which was Wednesday, it was like 1,700 Grim Favors that you had to collect. It's now up to 1,900. I've managed to hand one in, and there are many, many things still to do. And Jesus Christ, I've got full bags and I didn't know. Wow, my head is really, really on straight these last days. It's just been a bit weird, but I have to say a really big and amazing thank you to everybody who came through on the stream on Wednesday. It was honestly just a blast. We had DJ Fart Blaster, a good friend of mine. We had Bubby Kai, a good friend who popped in, dropping some thoughts on how he feels about like kind of Xbox and everything. We actually, I read out the post that he sent me. It was honestly really good. I wish before some things happened in the last day or two, I should have gotten his permission and sent it on to somebody I know, because I think it would have been good to potentially get that, plus also have an article, like write up an article, do something off of that. It would have done, I think it would have done really good. So yeah, we had that. OMG Turtles, the ever faithful and amazing coffee slinger himself, as I'm referring to him as. Just in general, being able to chat and have a whole run of people in here and the back and forth, it was a lot of fun. It's the first time that I think we've had so many people kind of in that discussion realm where, like, okay, behind the scenes, I've got everything streaming to Twitch and to YouTube. Twitch's rules say that you can't have YouTube chat and Twitch chat together. So my way around this is to have both of the chats in front of me, die a lot in game because I'm reading everybody's chats out, so that the people who are chatting in YouTube know what the people in Twitch are saying, and the people in Twitch know what the people in YouTube are saying, because I can't put it up on the screen for everybody to see at once because of the rules. So I've worked my own way around it, but it's almost a personalized element of, instead of having that text to speech system where you hear that generic posh English voice kind of read out the message, which I get that some people like, and it has a it has a certain ring to it when you start putting emojis and it starts being like banana, 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 banana. But now you get the smooth, occasionally rough, incorrect pronunciation of a middle-aged Australian guy. So, cheers to everybody. No beer, just an energy drink. So to Friday night, to another week survived, and with this for Friday night demon slaying, it is your show. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. It's been a long week for everyone out there, but I'd like to hear what's going on for you. It's like, I don't think that there's ever anything that that kind of throws people too much for a six. And I now understand the auto mod system in here a little better. So even if you bring up something that the auto mod system is going to throw a spanner in the works on, I should hopefully be able to tell it to shut the fuck up and get out of the way. So we will go with that. And yes, Ninja Gaiden. It is definitely the unlubricated dildo of video games for the boss fights. For anybody who wasn't here on Wednesday, that was pretty much the auto mod didn't like that comment and refused to allow it to be posted. Problem being is I didn't understand how that kind of works to a degree. It's still something to kind of learn and understand. This is a young person's game, and I am just that little bit too old for it. But I'm trying, you know. I'm getting better, I think. If I'm not, please tell me. Ooh, a whisper to slay Andariel. I don't think I've tried her for tier 2. I just can't remember. There's certain materials you need for her, I think. Do I have the materials for an Andariel? No, I don't think I do. I have that. Summon a powerful enemy requires 2. Okay, I've got 2 of them. With the pincushion doll requires 2. So I need to go kill Lord Zer, who needs blood. Right. We have a quest. We have a quest. We have something we can do. So I got to go here and kill this cunt. So it's sometimes that you only really start to realize how very Australian you are when you are more cognizant of what you're saying. And it's in moments like that where you just kind of go, oh yeah, I am Australian because I'm just dropping a C-bomb. I imagine that there are probably American listeners or people coming through who are just like, ooh, really? Do you have to use that language? And I'm just like, yeah, it's what we do. The English, the UK and British Isles people would definitely know what I'm talking about. Like Australians and the Brits, we drop C bombs like it's nothing because it is nothing to us. I will openly and easily admit I could probably get my sister on the phone, and she would answer it honestly. How many times has she picked up or how many times has she called me and I've picked up the phone saying "sup cunt"? And every one of my friends, when they call me, I would imagine it's probably a scarily large amount of times that I do it. But you know what? In a sense, that is just being a Australian to any degree. I think it's almost it's one of those elements of Australian language and discussion that we don't take offense at a large variety of things. Like, okay, you know, people would probably go, "Oh, political correctness gone mad." That happens everywhere because people think that there's you know, there is some element that is working against them. No, Australians are probably the most probably, I'm not going to say definitely, probably the most easygoing country out there. Like, I think that's easy enough to say. I think that is respectful enough to say about my fellow country people, that we don't worry much about anything. We're not worried people, I think. And that language, you know, that when it's like the difference between sup cunt when somebody calls, oh fuck me, that is a squish. That was a fucking squish and a half. Okay, so yes, I did not. I definitely have not done this on tier 2, because I think the last time I fought him 3 times in a row, just like back to back. So this definitely proves that I have not done this as yet. So, and there is Qualified Wombat, who is probably here to now laugh at me as I get squish. Come on, Zer, squish. Oh, shit. Yep. Yep, I am a squishy little mage. Help. Oh, shit. Yes. The first auto mod message of the day, handed in by Qualified Wombat, which is sup cunt. I know that that's my wife. That's my partner, and yes, she is saying sup cunt because she knows she can, she knows she should, to prove the point. And this is, you know, this is just great, because I know that as soon as she appeared in the chat, it's like, yeah, she's going to stand behind me, support me as a loving partner, which is to just, you know, scream curse words at me. And to quack as well. I do appreciate the quack. And yeah, I forgot that I could be this squishy. I suppose last night, Wombats and I were playing. Wombats actually has her has a druid build that is fucking. I am very squish. Oh my god, I've forgotten, because I've spent so many times going through against this particular boss. Sometimes you just forget how much damage they can do in just one hit, and if you're not cognizant of it, you get humbled. Like, it almost feels like it should be said with an Irish accent. I have been humbled, but I'm not going to start doing an Irish accent. It probably offends quite a lot of people. But Wombats had this build in previous Diablo seasons that had trample plus pulverize plus everything else, and it was fucking devastating. It was it fucks cunts up. So the word of tonight is cunts. And yeah, probably probably Twitch is going to ban my account after all of this. But you know what? Totally fucking worth it. But over the previous seasons, they basically killed a lot of the viability for that, and it was a tough one because druids are fantastic, but you want to have just that little bit of damage, that little bit of this. It needs to be viable across the board. But they nerfed so many things about it that it just got to this point where you can understand it wasn't worth any of the it wasn't worth any of the kind of it wasn't fun anymore. Wombats with the exact answer that I'm stumbling over. I'm just going to dump this here. You'll reach the 5 board limitation after attaching this. Yeah, I don't care. Just do it. So what are we going to do? Extra damage to burning enemies and damage resistance. Yeah, that sounds good. But with that, Wombats basically built out that character style again last night. Got a few good drops and was like, oh, okay, this could be really cool. Let's see where it goes. Especially with the Witchcraft, the season of Witchcraft skills that have come in. All of those elements worked really well together, and just it was impressive how quickly she was burning through enemies. Like, I played on my Spiritborn a little bit, and it was, it was pretty good. But I was surprised at how quickly just watching Wombats just wreck shop with the Druid. And I think she was only like 2 levels ahead of me, 3 levels at most. Oh, look at you burn. See what happens when you finally actually put on some of the things like incense and everything else. Oh, cool. We got 2 uniques and an ancestral amulet. This could be good. Come on. Oh, it's I was just about to say, oh, it's blue. That's not ancestral. Fucking look with your eyes, Alex. Okay, so this is one I haven't seen before, actually. Okun's Catalyst, a unique focus, plus 31 attack speed for 5 seconds after casting a defensive skill, plus 0.6% damage reduction for each active ball lightning. That's pretty good. Plus 2 to ball lightning, plus 14% chance for ball lightning projectiles to cast twice. Ball lightning orbits you, creates a static field, damage to all enemies, 166. That's not bad. You are unhindered as long as the field is active. Movement speed cannot be reduced. That could actually go really well, thinking about it. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's change off that. The activity feed. Stevie Doyle, thank you for the follow. Normally there would have been a little message. I think the entire alert system is completely broken. I did hear the quack though. Actually, Qualified Wombat, could you just hit me with a whole bunch of like quacks and sounds? Because for some reason that should have come up with have we got any yellow? Yeah, I heard the quack. But yeah, it should have come up with the Ma, have we got any yellow? But it didn't. What's going on? Okay. Yeah, sound alerts are there. Do, 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 do. I'm not sure. I am not sure what's going on. I am scared. I am confused. Yes, there was a long instrumental alert that happened. Okay, so it must have defaulted. Damn it. I'm gonna have to see. This is the annoying thing. They keep changing and throwing out all of these little different bits and pieces where it's like, oh, this is how this thing works, and this is how this thing works, and I'm like, no, but I want these things to just be simple and easy. Okay, Stevie Doyle in the chat saying, no worries, mate. I've headphones in, that quack scared the shit out of me. I apologies for the quack. Actually, no, Wombat probably will not. She's. You've just told her a very scary thing. You're going to be quacked when you least expect it. My apologies. All right. Well, yes, thank you for the follow, and appreciate you here, being here as well. Thank you. And yeah, nothing's on fire, which is fantastic. It's the anticipation that gets them from Qualified Wombat. Yes. It's also the fact that I wouldn't really be able to bring it up and show you, but if you've played the game Donut County, at the start of that game, there's you talking with your character. I cannot remember the young girl's name, but your character's interaction with your friends, the raccoon, and you're on the phone texting to each other while in the same room, and you can hit the little quack emote, and it's that quack. There's an achievement for sending 100 quacks, and both Wombats and I have that, to the point now where on my phone there have been conversations and runs between us of quacks sent back and forth. And we work beside one another. Like, I'm a fabricator. Wombats is a fabricator who I'm training and teaching and building up beside me. And yeah, we will be at work, and I will pull out my phone and send her. I think, yeah, it'd be safe enough to bring up the photo of the duck. But yeah, there's like basically this image. That duck gets sent between us. There are days where I have like 25 of these ducks in my text message lineup. And that duck is where that quack sound comes from, I think. And I love the fact that now it's used as a piece of terrorism on everyone else. It's not just me. But regardless of that, apologies for the scare, Stevie. But, oh, and we've got our first time chat from yet another bot. So what we're going to do here is we are going to block and report. Oh my God. Look, you are a scam. You are spam. Tell us more. Spam is spam. And I verify that the information filed is truthful. Yes. And can I do anything else with this? Can I pin this message or kill it? It seems I cannot. Oh, well, it's just going to have to sit there and be highlighted on my screen as a reminder. It's going to be the head on a pike for the, for future chatters. you know, beware, um, you know, uh, spam is not welcome here. Oh, actually, no. It's like the sequence of what's his name? Captain Jack Sparrow coming into port at the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. You know, pirates ye be warned, and you know the hanging bones. That's what it is. Okay, so Okun's Catalyst. Getting back to this, Okun's Catalyst. I think that might be something worth holding on to. Even though it's unique, not ancestral, we might be able to do something with that. Fractured Winterglass. This one I know is used by a metric fuckload of people for the Frost Orb build that is out there. I've used it. It's fun. It's interesting, but I was actually chatting, I think on Wednesday, about the fact that those sorts of builds, the classic, like the meta builds, are what drives a lot of these live service games, and I like just playing around. Like, you don't have to have the best of the best. Sometimes it's just fun to throw shit at a wall and see what sticks. I'll hold on to that. Although I think, oh, look at that, we've got an ancestral unique already, so that's crap. We're going to turf that. That is not bad. That is not bad at all. Okay. We'll hold on to that. Everything else, though, is to be turfed. That is a pity. Oh, wait, actually, I'll just keep fighting this dude so that I can get more of the materials, which I think we still... Oh, we've got 2 and 2. We might not need it. Damn it. Oh, well, I've already called him here. May as well see out the fight then.
I'm in danger.
Thank you very much, Koalified Wombat. Yes, I am in danger. And I brought this upon myself. Oh, Jesus. I'm actually surviving the hits reasonably well. Or is it because I actually had a defensive skill up? Oh. He's stunned like a bitch. Knock the bitch down. Everything burns. Like the... shit, everything burns. It's... I cannot remember who the artist was for that song in... the Cyberpunk 2077 soundtrack. Oh, it's really good song though. Like, and actually, here's the thing for anybody in chat. Wombats probably won't throw in on this, but for everyone else, your partner, your friends, the people around you, whether you've lived with family or a loved one or roommates or anything, where do you get your music from? Because one thing I've noticed over the time that Wombats and I have been together is a lot of the music I used to... Residrone is the band. Thank you very much, Wombat. So yeah, Residrone is the band, and the song title I think is like Everything Burns or whatever the song title is. But when Cyberpunk 2077 came out, Wombats and I were playing the game. It was fantastic, whole fuckload of fun, and as much as people may have given it shit and gone, oh, it was broken, it was dodgy, it was this, it was that. No, it was awesome. I loved it. I think it was really just fantastic. And there was the music in the just driving around, the radio and everything else had that same feel of, ooh, there we go, another unique boot, but standard boot. We don't do standard boots here. Temerity, I've got a version of that in bag. Oh, and look at that, another razor plate. No, the razor plate. God damn it, Razor Plate. I can't throw it away. Can't throw it away. Um, but with that, a lot of music when I was growing up, I'd listen to the radio, watch things like video hits and video hits and rage. For any Australians in the audience, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Waking up at like 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning to watch Rage and catching like the top 30 songs of that week based on like not the Billboard charts, but I think it was the ARIA charts. And you'd know when there were really good songs were coming on because they wouldn't show you the video clips because they would skip it because ABC had a policy that if the song had too much swearing, instead of compromising the work of art that somebody has actually put out, they would play it on Triple J on the radio and not censor it. They would just go, it's art, deal with it. But they couldn't broadcast swear words at 6 a.m. in the morning. So they would instead just put the title of the song up and the band and then skip that song and go into the next one. So that's how you always knew what songs had curse words in them or not. But a lot of music I got from the billboards or the ARIA charts when I was a kid. But as I've gotten older, I've listened to the radio a lot less. World's Boss. 11 minutes, yeah. We got enough time to take care of this. So because I'm listening to the radio less, I don't really hear that many new songs or bits and pieces. But Wombats listens to Spotify and will kind of browse new music and everything. So a lot of music I get is through osmosis, through the things that she's playing or listening to or engaging with. Is that the case for many of you out there? Or do you listen to the radio? Do you listen to like the newest, hottest artists on Spotify or YouTube Music or from recommendations? Because I've been that removed from it, it's one of those things when you're removed from it so much, you're not certain about how people then engage with it. And I'm really interested to find out how do you find new music, or do you stay with what you know, what you're comfortable with? Because it is one of those strange elements. As I've gotten older, I've noticed a lot of things like that normally in the past I would be like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm young. I'm hip. I'm with it. Stevie Doyle on Twitch says, "No, the radio is on when I work in the office, but when I'm at home, like now, I use SoundCloud for listening to techno and house music, etc." I remember that SoundCloud was used by a lot of people to find new bands, new artists, and everything. So, I have to ask Stevie. Do you have particular artists that you listen to, or is it that you kind of go, here's the genre and style, play me stuff and I'll find what I want? Because I kind of like that idea, like just tuning in. Like it used to be the case I remember for, I think it was things like Jamendo and everything back in 2010, where I actually found a whole run of bands that I listen to now, where it was, I want something unique and interesting. Just recommend to me what people are listening to. And I found two bands from that, Diablo Swing Orchestra and Nana War of Steel, which two bands that I still to this day absolutely adore. If you want powerful operatic vocals and a swing sounds that feels like it's gone through a Mick Gordon distortion guitar pedal, check out Diablo Swing Orchestra. And if you want to laugh, Stevie, it's really good for DJ sets. So basically follow loads of different DJs so I can see all of their uploads and reposts. But it'll have like recommendations list based on what I listen to. That's Okay, that's actually pretty good. I am going to write that down. It's one advantage to having my phone and a little notepad here. Okay. Okay, brilliant. Because yeah, when it comes to it, as much as YouTube Music has done okay in some suggestions and bits and pieces, it knows a bit of what I like. Um, okay, best platform around for finding electronic music. Okay. While I'm generally not big on electronic music, I kind of like giving things a shot because honestly, like you it's one of those things you never know whether you really like something until you let it sit in the background. I've always had just this general approach and feeling that when it comes to whether something's whether you're giving something a fair shake is not about when you're actually kind of sitting there engaged and listening to the song, listening to this, listening to that. It's when you let things just kick around in the background uh and then you just let it roll on without paying any particular attention to it. That's when you'll find out whether it's something that really kind of catches you. And there's a lot of things, not just food or entertainment or anything, but there's some things where I've just gone, I don't like this at first hit, and actually, it's one of the one of the things for the back catalogue of games that we've got on here. For this, Alan Wake 2. I tried and I found that it just kept pushing me away. I wasn't engaging with it. It really rubbed me the wrong way, but um I feel like I gave it I wasn't in the right space. I was trying to kind of push my way through it. So my challenge this year is at some point I need to just stop thinking so much about it and just play through it and form my opinion at the end instead of letting those small little irritations about how some of the things for the game is actually rubbing me the wrong way, and just let it be. All right, world boss time, because yeah, we got how long for that? Yeah, about 4 minutes. Okay. And then, is that Andariel? Ah, okay. That Andariel quest is dead and gone. Oh well, that's all right. So yeah, I'm actually going to push through Alan Wake 2, but when it comes to music, I found when I was listening to actually, funny side story. Wombats and I have a playlist that we refer to or is called Three Buckets of Body Parts. It's just a Spotify playlist where it it's basically a bunch of music that we both listen to, but it's the combination of songs and things that we both enjoy, but also a lot of it is a lot of the music that Wombats listens to, not particularly stuff that I do. But we use it as this combined playlist because I don't mind listening to anything and everything. There's some artists who I'm not a big fan of, but I'm generally happy enough to give anything a listen. So the story goes that at this time we had a back bedroom at our house, and we had Wombat's computer here, and then my computer was over here. So she's come into the room and sat down and been like, I've made this playlist of all of these songs. What am I going to name the playlist? And I'm on my computer, like bopping along to the music that was already currently playing. And she's turned to me to go, hey, what should I call this playlist? And without any prompting, when she's about to ask that, I'm sitting there at my computer and go, 3 buckets of body parts. Because I was playing Viscera Cleanup Detail, and I had just filled 3 of the disposal bins with chunks of humans and just piled all the parts into it. And hey, we got OMG Turtles in the YouTube chat. Sup, man? You've walked into the, basically me for a story saying that I filled 3 buckets with body parts, and you will get no further context for it, my friend. It was a great conversation. And there's DJ Fart Blaster playing Turtle Sex. There we go. Actually, OMG Turtles, did you hear that sound? Was that coming through on YouTube? Because I'm still trying to work out whether everything is properly coming through on all of the channels. If it didn't, then I'm going to have to fix it, because you can't be out of the loop when it comes to the turtle sex. You heard it loud and clear. Fantastic. I hope you didn't have your headphones in like Wednesday night, where I just start going, you know, where I start ranting on about the unlubricated dildos, which was all DJ Fart Blaster's fault, not mine. He told me to say it. Oh, actually, now that DJ Fart Blaster and OMG Turtles are here, we've got another Aussie and somebody from the British Isles to ask. Gentlemen, I posit to you that the use of the word cunt in our cultures can be said with endearment and is generally not seen as an offensive thing. It all depends on how you say it. Sup cunt is a term of endearment. You cunt is, you know, antagonistic. Would you agree with that? Because I'm just wanting to make sure that you know, if I'm going to start throwing around C-bombs, I want the Americans to kind of understand that, no, they don't get a say in this. Oh, yeah. There we go. Qualified Wombat with another auto mod message getting caught in the court, but I made sure it came free with no discipline for you. It has been allowed. So DJ Fart, oof, I have died. I am still very squishy. Yeah. DJ Fart Blaster says, I'm more worried about being called champ, to be honest. Yeah. That just has that feeling of like a familiarity that somebody hasn't earned. And Qualified Wombat has highlighted that sup cunt or you cunt, it's like mate and mate. Yeah. It really is, and it has that element. So OMG Turtle says, yep, I also like to use it in an ambiguous sense, as in I think you're a cunt. Yeah, it's such a multifaceted word in terms of its use and its capacity. but there's always this element of people feeling like it can only be offensive. Yeah, and Stevie Doyle say you're a good cunt. Yeah, it's there's that particular element about Australian English, the kind of Commonwealth countries. We just have a chill atmosphere, a chill capacity to be able to just accept that some things are said with the best of intentions. Like we're not trying to hurt someone. It's just how we. Any word can be offensive depending on how you use it. Like finger. Finger is a normal standard word. This is all from OMG Turtles. But yes, if you say, actually, there's yeah, until you use it in a sentence like finger your mum. Okay, so qualified wombat. Is it a thing in Canada, or is cunt just an absolute no-no in the Americas in general? I know that for people I've chatted with in Discord, especially Americans, there tends to be that cringe that comes from it. Like I've dropped C-bombs in Discords with Americans, and some people are cool with it. They're just like, he called you a cunt because you're a cunt. And some people go, Jesus, like that's a bit much. Like that's a step too far. I'm not too sure about Canada. Like it would make sense if Canada is just like no issues with a C-bomb, then it would definitely then mean maybe it's something that Elizabeth II did, in her rise to power. When she became queen, she was like, okay, the Commonwealth countries, the whole lot of you have to be right with the word cunt. And that's how we're going to tell the difference between you guys who are good and those fucking Americans. Lizzie was a thinker. Actually, I just love the idea of Queen Elizabeth doing that. OMG Turtles, say, what a woman. I know. Now Charles has to kind of Stevie Doyle. Stevie Doyle in the Twitch chat said, "I called someone a cunt while I was in a taxi in New York, and you would have thought I'd killed his dog." That's the reaction that I've seen and have heard from a friend of mine who's in I believe he's in New York at the moment. Okay, qualify wombat. Maybe Canadians just say chatte really aggressively instead. I'm not sure. How is that word pronounced? Qualified wombat with a John Wick. Okay. Yeah, a qualified wombat with the statement of making a John Wick joke. Okay. OMG Turtles does bring up something that we can use, that we can ask some of the Aussies here. What's your opinion on the British monarchy still owning your asses? Do we still supply you with enough tea? Well, no. I don't think that there's enough. There's ever enough tea. Because it generally gets spilt, and the fucking Americans keep throwing it in goddamn ocean. But that's their thing. They just throw big. Well, I was going to say they throw big dick energy around, but now it's just they throw a big dick around. Take that as political commentary, if you will. DJ Fartblaster in the Twitch chat saying, we use descriptive adjectives to modify the lethality of cunt. That I think is actually probably the best way to think about it. Like the way that we add to the term tends to impact where on that where on that rail it kind of sits. Um, from Qualified Wombat, in regards to Turtle's comment on the British monarchy still owning your asses, she quotes Casablanca, Ugarte, you despise me, don't you? Rick, if I gave you any thought, I probably would. Yeah, Wombats is quite quite lethal in her comment there. Yeah, I don't think that there's. Now, here's the thing: for Australia, we've had votes for whether we should become a republic or not. Our own independent republic. It's happened quite a few times, or there's been a few attempts at it over the years, but we are still yet to have a successful. OMG Turtle says Wombat loves us. If we ever get over to the UK, trust me, right now, there's more likelihood that Wombats and I would visit the UK than any chance that we would go to America now, if ever. So you get started on that coffee spot. I need somewhere to just mainline Java. But there's been quite a few attempts and tries to get a Republican vote started here, like to start the idea of Australia becoming its own independent country with their own president and everything else. But it's never, ever really had that success. It's never really gotten up. I think the closest it got to was like, I think it was 29 or 30% the last time we attempted it, and that was in the 90s. Stevie Doyle to Qualified Wombat, you'll find you can get away with most things with an Irish accent. Yeah, that is true. Wombat doesn't really throw around accents that much, but she will occasionally just bust out, like she will emulate or say something with an accent that is it's just deceptively amazingly good. Like it makes me go, holy shit, like that was really amazing. Like that was almost dead on. And Qualified Wombat had popped over to the YouTube chat to let Turtles know that yes, she does desperately want to visit the UK and Ireland, which I'm very much of the same opinion. I'd love to go there because if you go to America, America has Americanized, or there's been the Americanization of so many other kind of Western English-speaking countries around the world, that the McDonald's that you have here in Australia is very much the same as the McDonald's that you have in the US. Just we have better burgers. But to the same degree, there's not, like, America has its own culture, its own kind of how would you say it? I'm trying to think of the best way to put it without, kind of like really slamming them. But its own kind of culture of consumerism. But the UK has a culture that has built out of its own cultures. There have been so many immigrants and groups that have come into the UK, and obviously all throughout Europe, that have then built out these small elements where things like curries and local eateries and everything else will have particular flavors and styles from all of these different cultural groups coming into one country. and, you know, carving out that little piece for themselves. It's actually one of the things I really love about Australia is that even in this local area, sorry, DJ Fart Blaster has said, I believe the Australia Act from 1986 basically made us quietly independent anyway, but it feels more like heavy banter style of sibling rivalry for the Commonwealth. Also because we're really fucking good at the Commonwealth Games, and Australians are just better at the Olympics and all versions of Olympic Games ever. And Qualified Wombat saying, England telling us to do something, we're like, you're not my real mum. Yeah, that's true. OMG Turtles, our language is made up of at least 5 different languages. It's built into our DNA. I was going to say as well, like in terms, a lot of, you consider English coming from fucking England, of all places, but you also have Welsh and Cornish and all of these Gaelic and old languages that are still spoken, for fuck's sake. And there are street signs written in those languages, and people still pronounce the locations and everything else using those languages. That is just the fucking coolest. Like, you really think about it, how many English-speaking countries could you go to in the world, like predominantly English-speaking countries, that have a level of respect and understanding that underneath the English, they will have their native tongue or their native variation of English. Holy shit. OMG Turtles in the YouTube chat. I live next to a wall that is older than the USA. Legitimately. That's one of the cool things about... it's one of the most interesting things I find about the UK is that there are sections of the UK that predate so much world history, so many events that we go, oh, wow, that was, you know, that changed everything. And it's like, nah, son, like, this fucking piece of wall was here before the fucking spice trade started. And you consider the spice trade, go back that many years. Like, it's the spice trade and periods of time in England are closer to Jesus being alive than they are to where we are today. And that is a fucking strange concept to consider. From Stevie Doyle in the Twitch chat, there's pubs in Ireland older than America. Yes, and that's the thing. Those fucking pubs have outlived kings and everything else. They've survived world wars. They've survived their own civil conflicts and everything else. And they're still standing, and there are still people who have grown up in that town. That's where they went and had their first fucking pint of their life. And then, you know, not to be morbid about it, it's also where they've gone and had the last pint in their life. It has been a mainstay of their life. There's something really amazing about that. And that sort of history is not really given much thought. Like, I suppose maybe it could be because I'm just old and I'm getting older, and but I have a respect and love for that idea that there are some locations and places out there that just have this beautiful history, and that's more what I'd like to engage with because of I suppose a bit of the way everything is seen today, that there's a value you must engage with these things in this manner or this way. That I love the concept of just that really old stuff just puts into perspective our little spot here in what we do. From Qualified Wombat. I love that I could go to the Tower of London and be like, wow, that is nearly 1,000 years old. See, that still throws me. And then you can turn around and look at a place, look at a piece of the original Roman wall that surrounded London and be like, that's nearly 2,000 years old. Yeah. And then you can go visit places in Athens where they've dated pieces of marble there. And they go, this marble has been around since before Jesus. Like, for how long it's been between Jesus and now, this marble was here for 3 times that length of time before him. And so many more years after that, after his ass. There is that wonderful brilliance in it all. So I suppose maybe I'm just getting really kind of old and mushy that I find these things to be just really wonderful. And maybe it's like like people saying the post dad games, people playing things like Power Wash Simulator or Model Railways and things like that. Maybe this is just my variation of it. Fuck yeah. See? I still got it. I took that cunt out. See? That's the proper use of the word cunt. Okay. From OMG Turtles, we have Hardian's Wall, which is a wall spanning the width of the north of England, and you can just walk the entire wall, visiting Roman forts and all along the way. Jesus. See, that's really cool. I think actually, my dad is 66 this year, I think. 66 in August. And we've talked about, you've worked so much, there is going to have to be a point where you go and do some cool shit that you want to do. And I remember asking him, and he's like, I'd love to go and kind of walk around Europe and see all of those things. He, much like the kind of trope he has, he has an incredible knowledge of all of the equipment and things used in World War II. My dad's dad, my grandfather, was an Air Forceman in World War II. But when it comes to when I've asked him, would you go around England? Would you go visit those locations? Would you go see, find our family history? And he's instead said that he would like to go to Cambodia, to some of the temples and locations through there. And you think of Cambodia, there's very big elements of a lot of very painful things, things like the killing fields. And you've also then, through places like that, you've got the history of one of the biggest dictators that existed, Pol Pot. But as my dad put it, he was like, I want to visit those, those temples and locations because they're one of the most unique places. And he knows a few people who actively work on those sites, trying to understand and build the history out from the Cambodian culture, which a lot of people tend to think and focus more on the kind of Aztec, Incan and Mayan history that has a lot of the build out of those cultures. But there are some offshoots and groups where the Cambodian temples and everything have very similar elements to them, and not going to the aliens bullshit, but just in a sense of it could be two two different temples, but the same kind of core idea coming from two separate points of human understanding of engineering as it was, and two different approaches that ultimately end up making temples of a similar variety. It'd be really cool to see. I hope he does get to actually do that. I need to push him. You know, get into what's happening. Oh, shit. We have... oh, we've had a reconnection. Okay. Sorry, as I went into this fight, OBS kind of like alerted me and just went, oh yeah, we're disconnected. You're no longer streaming, but it's managed to reconnect, or that it's told me that it's reconnected again. So I hope it did. Well, it hasn't thrown any other errors at me. Yes, it's still working. Thank God. Okay, well, OMG Turtles, we'll have to get back to work. Happy stream. Thank you very much, sir. And thank you for the chats. I think your idea is a fantastic one. And yeah, if you make that horse box, I will endeavor to get my ass over there and just be one of your customers sitting out there, mainlining coffee at 6 a.m. So on that, okay, so, oh, we have the ancestral. Yes, there we go. Damn it, I don't have enough to kind of really build that out. Okay, from DJ Fartblaster, talking history mins fucks. I love that what we view as ancient Egypt, what we view as ancient Egypt lasted so long they actually had their own archaeologists who studied the Old Kingdom. See, that's one of the cool things that has, like, I remember being in high school and primary school and talking about Egypt and Egyptology and all of those things, but it's been in the years since. Oh, talking history mind fucks, not min fucks. Talking history does fuck. Like, people who talk history, so much fucking pussy. But it's, since I left high school, it's now become a point that we understand that the history that we now study for how we look at Egyptology, how that world has grown, how all of those things have kind of built out, we now have our own understanding that, no, there were people in ancient Egypt who were studying kingdoms that were there before them. And that is, it is a very big mindfuck, but it also kind of then places into a context of to think that we are the only people who have kind of considered and pondered our own belly buttons and thought about the people before us. How did they get by? What did they do? How did they do it? Kind of just shows that we do have a very cyclical nature, but we always like to understand what we've done, where we've been, and where we're going. Because I think, wanting to understand where we've come from or where we're going, that's a good thing. Like, if you have that understanding, then you can kind of build and grow past that point. Hopefully not fall into the same traps. But they did, again, not to be political, but they did elect Donald Trump president twice. So sometimes history does repeat. It will always throw me for a 6. But if you just look at the world and go, well, that's the way it is, you will find that nothing surprises you, but at the same time, sometimes the world will just throw you a happy little thing to just be like, you know what? You know how you're disappointed in people and humanity in general? Can you be more disappointed? You go, no, I couldn't. Like, they did this and did that. And he'd be like, think again, bucko. I'm going to prove you wrong. And pop. Okay, excellent. Oh, cool. We got excellent. We got some more ancestrals. Thinking about it as well. I'm trying to remember. Was it the I thought it was you, DJ, who had actually told me about there was an element of the archaeologists when they were doing the studies of the old kingdom, they were trying to work out how, like, what things from that ancient kingdom or the old kingdom that they were studying that maybe we associate with Egyptology, like that Egypt came up with, but may have instead been them interpreting what the old kingdom used to do, and then they use that in their own lives. I cannot remember. I think it was a particular, maybe how they honored their dead. I don't know if you remember us talking about it, but yeah, if you think of it, like, please let me know, because it's kind of sitting on my mind thinking, I thought I remember us talking about it at some point and just going like, that's fucking weird, and fucked up. The way we look at how they honor their dead and what people in Egypt used to do. Instead, it's the reality being, no, it was nothing like that. It could have in fact just been something that they were like, oh well, we don't do this to honor the legends and gods of today. It's just what's always been done. And it could have been from that old kingdom, but I'm not certain. Jesus Christ. Come here, goblin. Motherfucker, I was burning you for a good solid 10 seconds. That was bullshit. That was absolute. Jesus was later. A lot later. Although I think that's probably the second or third time in a couple of days that I've seen those fucking treasure goblins appear, and I've tried to cook them, and they just stand there tanking hits and just go, nah, now I'm just going to disappear. I don't know. Maybe the game really doesn't like me, and it's just kind of pulling my leg. It like gave me that 4-star ring just to be like, we're going to give you a small amount of hope that you'll never encounter again. Good luck chasing that, chasing that up, running up that hill. But away from that, actually, that kind of just kind of interests me. I love that I was able to a degree, kind of confirm in a sense that using the word cunt is just our endearing little way of how we do things in Australia and England. I will have to reach out to a few friends who live in Canada and find out whether they have the same sort of liberal approach to C bombs. I would imagine they would, because Canadians just have a generally nice, chill demeanor that they wouldn't really take things too much to heart. Like, it has that very Australian approach. But at the same time, it's never been, you never want to assume, like you wouldn't, well, actually, no, I suppose Canadians could probably be some of the only people you could walk up to and just call a cunt. They'd be like, oh yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry, eh? And it wouldn't bother them in any way, shape, or form because they'd be like, "Oh, I must have done something to offend this guy." It's just like, no, I'm like, be offended. Like you can tell me I'm wrong or tell me to get fucked, and like, oh, you wouldn't have said it if you didn't mean it for some reason. Probably very dismissive of how the how Canadian people encounter, engage, and go about their lives. Um, but yeah, actually, okay, DJ Fartblaster, they're saying Canadians have two modes. They are lovely or they're making Geneva sweat. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Actually, I wonder how things are now going to balance out. The fact that um, Prime Minister Trudeau has basically gone, you know what, fuck this, I'm out. Or that basically his entire party and everything else has just fallen to the wayside. And a lot of this is really just coming from a dissatisfaction that, you know, look, it's, I think anybody who's watched any form of politics going around understands that the world has cycles of some kind. Like generally, the rule of thumb is that you'll have a socially conscious kind of socialist group, Labor Party for Australia, the Democrats, so on and so forth. Those groups will be in power for maybe a term, 2 terms, and then everything lurches to the right, and you have your Republicans and your conservatives, and they stay in power generally for a term, maybe 2, maybe 3, but then they get kicked out again because they've been too dismissive. They've been too they've just pushed that line a little bit too much. Like here in Australia, we had 2 terms with Labor. We had Prime Minister Kevin Rudd, and then we had Julie Gillard, and then switched back to Rudd for like the last 6 weeks, and then there was an election, and then we had three terms with Conservative, the coalition being the government of the day. But then the coalition lost so terribly in that election that we flipped back the other way so fucking hard and so quickly. But now people are already considering and going, oh, they haven't fixed everything. Things aren't great. It must be the socialist fault. It must be the Labor Party's fault, or whatever the case may be, or insert party here. It must be the left-wingers' fault. So now it swings back the other way, and people start pushing back the opposite direction and going, no, we've got to put the Conservatives in. So there always ends up being this kind of like weird back and forth that occurs for politics, that you always, it's ultimately these kind of swings back and forth between these 2 points. And right now, Canada's just at that position. Like, if you really think about it, Trudeau's been there a good chunk of time and has been quite effective as Prime Minister, but it's also just the sheer reality of the world right now is scared across the board. I don't think that there's many people who would kind of consider what's going on in the world and go, you know, this seems perfectly reasonable. You know, an American president saying that they want Greenland, that you know, that the reason a plane crashed at the Ronald Reagan airport is because of transgender kids and DEI wokeness. Like, I don't know about you, but I believe that the FDA has a little more solid requirement on proof of cause of plane crash than pulling bullshit out. Like that they've been around for long enough and covered and investigated enough airplane crashes that I'm sure that they can prove that wokeness didn't bring down a fucking regional plane. Just me. I'm sorry. It's hard to keep a straight face when talking about the absurdity of some elements like that. But it's also, in a sense, depressing to just talk about that and say that these absurd things are, in fact, the reality of the day. So instead, I'm going to ask, like, what else is happening in the world? What is some of the interesting things that are occurring out there? Because there's always the element people will read and catch up on the news that matters to them. But there's always something going on in the world. Like there's always that weird news story of, you know, scientists today found a cat that can, you know, climb up a 45-degree overhang through, you know, sheer force of will. And you kind of go, wait, what the fuck? And you would be none the wiser because it's not interesting news. It's not news that like Channel 7, Channel 9, ABC, SBS, or the Murdoch press would cover because they're like, oh, who cares? A cat can climb 45-degree incline. And it's like, yes, but it's a fucking overhang and these cats don't have claws. Like, these are happy little pussycats that are indoor animals. We're not talking about a fucking jaguar here. But those things never come up until, you know, what's the weirdest news story, or what's something that's going on right now that you would like to talk about? Because, yeah, while it has been a hell of a day, ooh, okay. From DJ Fartblaster. Positive news. A super rare red goshawk was photographed in an area where they were considered regionally extinct. Actually, that reminds me, I've seen more news stories about that over the last year and a half, that we're starting to find more and more animals and creatures that we thought were extinct or were having problems continuing on in the world. That, yeah, they're all starting to appear. They're starting to come back, like the meme, nature is healing. And it's actually it's a reality, which is kind of like fucking amazing. And it's nice to know that, well, to a degree, I know that there's particular nature groups that are going, what are the things that are happening out there that are helping these particular birds of prey, or conservation groups are trying to work out what they're doing. A lot of conservation wins for animal reintroductions in general. Yes, that's where I was going to go, is that a lot of conservation groups have had success in trying to push and have very engaged talks with industry groups and governments to kind of just not lock down things, but just go, hey, we could do some good work here. Could you give us a little bit of time, give us a little bit of space to help bring these animals back into their own natural habitats, or habitats that could you give us 5 years? And if we don't have any successes, then we'll accept and move on. But we could have a win here that no one else in the world is capable of. And those things are actually paying dividends. Like, these species and creatures are actually reappearing, and that's a strange thing, considering that we are still at the point of the Tasmanian devil potentially going extinct because of diseases that we're unable to control in their wild nature. Like, for anybody who doesn't know, there is a disease that goes through the small little Tassie devils in Tasmania, obviously, where there's facial growths and tumors that occur. We believe it's from a particular infection, which can be passed. It is an infection that can be passed from animal to animal. And there are genetic dispositions for some of the wild animals that they will develop these naturally, but then they can pass them through infection onto other Tassie devils that they fight with or even come into contact with that don't have that genetic disposition to it. But once they're infected, it will kill them. And it means that the babies from these ones that get infected don't get to live to maturity. So there's been a pretty drastic drop in their numbers out in the wild. So we've had these really big efforts for Australian zoos around the country to take in Tassie devils, keep them free and clear of these diseases, and try to do breeding programs, which aren't super effective for an animal that is, one, aggressive with everyone, even their mates. They are aggressive. Like, you bite your partner on the shoulder, tee hee hee. No, you watch Tassie devils trying to win over one another. Koala-fied wombat with the comment, they like rough sex. Now, here's the difference. We think of rough sex as being thrown up against a wall and passionately making out. These motherfuckers will tear strips off one another. Like, it is Clive Barker's Hellraiser in there. They go nuts. But it's due to kind of natural instinct. They are looking for the strongest potential mate. And it's not just the women looking for strong guys to protect them. It's actually the men are looking for strong women to give birth to babies that will, pillage nations. Kind of think of like the Viking memes of, get a bitch who can, deadlift bears and everything else like that. Tassie devils are like that. They are looking for the toughest and the strongest, because for them, it is about being tough and strong and capable, because they have a lot of, there are a lot of introduced species in Australia that will fight and attack Tassie devils. Koala-fied wombat. And I'm going to do this with the accent because I know that she's saying it and I know the particular video. They want to be strong like bitch who fights bears in the forest. Yes. There's an Instagram video that Wombat showed me ages ago, which is just this amazingly muscular woman. Like, she's got shoulders twice as big as mine, a back that, like, you'd be able to put a full fucking Settlers of Catan layout on her back and still have space for a goddamn Monopoly board before you get to her ass. Like, this woman is fucking strong and broad. An incredible, like, incredible fitness level. But yeah, she's just doing these push-ups and just qualified Wombat saying she is goals. I don't know whether Wombat is saying that she is the visual goals, she is the personal goals, or whether she is just a goal that Wombats wants. Like, she's like, I want that, go get me that. I want that. I want to put it in my room and look at it. Why not both? Yes. Actually, damn it, I was going to get that clip. I found out that in Australia, specifically for Australia, the advertising laws here in Australia state that, especially for the ideas of fair use, you can use their little taglines and bits and pieces from ads that they show on domestic television in the country. You can use them under fair use. So I was going to have things like, hit the thing, and it's just like, why not both? No. So that I could just hit that at moments like that. Thank you for reminding me, DJ. I am now writing that down. But yeah, she's just like, I cannot remember the full line, but it's like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be strong and capable like man. I want to be like bitch who fights bears in the forest. And it's just, it's just in a sense, when you look at a woman who is that built and that strong and that capable, and you're like, you look at them and go, I would not want, like, if you came up to me and just went, we're married now, if you said, okay, Qualified Wombats has posted it. I don't want to be strong like man who is pretty. I want to be strong like bitch who fights bears in the woods. That's a line. I'll have to throw that into the description of this video once it finishes uploading tomorrow morning. But she almost she strikes me as one of those people that, like, if she was interested in you and you're a guy approximately my height, my build, like, she would walk up and go, we're dating now, and you'd be like, no, sorry, I'm married. And she would just put her hand on your shoulder and just go, no, we're married now. And she would apply enough pressure just on the shoulder that that if you disagree with her, that, like, this part of your body would be torn off. Not with blood and viscera and screaming or anything, but she would just apply enough pressure to just take your shoulder in a movement. And that's the thing. I personally look at that and go, that fucking scares the living shit out of me. And I can be damn fucking sure that there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people who would hear that and just be like, I am so scare-roused. I like my shoulders where they are. And I am afraid of I am afraid of a very strong woman just coming and being like, your shoulders are mine. It's like, no, I like them where they are. Right. Oh shit, we're actually quite close on the grim favors. So, there's got to be there is the chest. Let's go drop this shit. I feel like, yeah, I could kind of build something out and use some of these pieces of ancestral equipment, but I'd rather just kind of chill and chat and hang out, and not be doing theory crafting while we're hanging out here. So yeah, like, there's conservation wins, especially for the Tassie Devils, are really great to kind of see. I hope that there's more work in that realm, because, like, come on, we've just got to do something. Like everybody's fighting over whether we should have nuclear power or this or that, or so many different things. And it's like, man, let's just. What about the fucking, these fucking birds? They need a hand. Can we just focus on the birds for like a year? Like pretty birds. Let them be okay. Instead of focusing on, who can say that the Jews, the Jewish people are being torn apart, like. That's even one that I'm just going to step away from. We're having anti-Semitism appear in Australia, and it is always a discussion. It is always a thing that's happened, but it feels like we have particular moments in Australia where it becomes a bigger issue because people are reporting it more. And I'm telling you, this is somebody who works in the security industry and talks with a lot of people who have to pull together and report these things to the police and provide the video footage. Anti-Semitic behavior happens everywhere. But the only reason you know that it's happening now is because particular people want to talk about it. It's happening all the time, and it's happening to a lot of people everywhere, but right now it fits a story, and that is a sucky part because the people out there who are dealing with it, they're the ones that I'm hearing from the people who are dealing with them and police and everyone else going, are we safe? Are we okay? When you don't feel confident because the cops are saying, no, we've got this. We're going to look after you. We're going to protect you. We're doing all that we can. But you're hearing from the media that, you don't let your kids go to school. They could get attacked on the way to school. Jesus fucking Christ. So I need to stop talking about things that are just rough like those topics. See, it's a rough thing to kind of break yourself out of a particular line of thinking. Thank you, Wombats. I appreciate that. You know exactly what to do to get my mind out of it. Okay, so DJ Fartblast. I've become enamored with pigeons lately because I went down a rabbit hole of learning how we use them in detail. It led to me learning about the ways in which they learned how to be around humans. And qualified Wombat Tate, I actually scared myself with that quack. Well, now you're in the same realm as poor Stevie Doyle, who you scared earlier with a quack. Actually, I wonder if Stevie is still watching or listening. He probably just, he's probably just drifting off to sleep. I didn't hear a honk. Where was that honk? I want to hear that honk. It's weird. I should have heard that.
Hello, motherfucker.
It certainly honked. Yes. Okay. I was trying to remember which honk it was because it doesn't let me actually doesn't let me hear it or preview it unless I open it up into its own window. But yeah, that was there. When it comes to pigeons, though, much like with like the history of dogs, wolves, wild animals, the domestication is one of those strange elements for a lot of animals in the world, because for many of them, there's, those animals would have been fine without us. They are fine without us. but it almost feels like companionship and the way that animals then treat us when we look out for them, provide them, how they learn us as much as we learn them, and kind of have that symbiotic nature. It's a strange thing to watch how people still consider that, oh, it's that people still feel that there's that we can keep pushing that realm. That there are some fucking morons out there who try to put their animals on vegan diets, or that, oh, I found this dingo and I'm going to raise it to love humans. And it's like, no, you're not. You're going to be missing a baby. Like, don't give birth, because that fucking dingo is just going to be waiting and just be like, sweet, mobile snack. Oh, what was her name? Linda. Oh, come on, Beeves. You can help me with this. Name of the chick who dingo stole a baby. I cannot remember. Damn it. I had it in my head right before I started saying it, and then it's just... Linda, barely knew her. Yes. Well, we never really knew a kid either, but that's the story for another day. It's but all of these people who kind of look at the idea of wild animals, and no, you're not helpful, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. Lindy Chamberlain Crichton. Well, yeah, she became Crichton after everything. She ultimately remarried and all of that, but Linda or Lindy Chamberlain. The weird aspect of it is that so many people still have this idea, oh, well, these animals are fine. I can look after them. It's like the Tiger King dude, like all of these people who, like, if you've worked around wild animals or dealt with wild animals in any way, shape, or form, you'd know that it doesn't matter how good you are, how, your own understanding or possibility or anything, that there can just be one day that an animal, no matter how long you've been around it, you may have raised it from a cub, but it just goes, nah, today is the day that I'm going to chew on you. And if it decides that that is going to happen, that's what's going to happen. Actually, I still, when we were trying to find a trainer to help with our pups here at home, I ended up reaching out to... from DJ Farblaster, I get tired of people trying to say dingoes are just wild dogs when they have already studied the genetics and dated fossils to several thousand years ago. That is... Oh, hey, we've had Bubby Kai pop in on the YouTube chat. He's tired, just wanted to say hello. Hello very much, Bubby. Hope you're doing well. If you're tired, go get some sleep. I'll be streaming tomorrow after Xbox 2, so I think that'll be your afternoon, towards the afternoon. I think sometime just after 3 or 4 p.m. But yeah, I'll be there, and we can chat and continue on our conversation from early this week. And yes, for what DJ Farblaster is saying there, dingoes are genetically different the from the dogs and wild wolves and the canine families that we know today. That's just the way it is. But they're one of the very few canine. I think so. From Bubby Kai. Oh, I'm getting some sleep, but then all of this dingo talk got me dingoed up. What's a dingo again? Okay, so dingoes are a native canine to Australia. So the easiest way to describe it is basically take a Kelpie or like a cattle dog breed and thin the body out, give it a fox-like snout, like a very thin snout, and but give them that loping canine walk. You know when you see a wolf or something that kind of just paces, like they've got that body and that builds where they're able to run on snow or sand or grass or anything, and you know that they could, if you take your eyes off them, they could fucking swing in, grab something, and be out, and you would be none the wiser. That's a dingo. Cheeky cunts, but very, very adorable. But adorable at a distance. And if you're ever in Australia, don't ever feed them. Don't touch them, because you might go, "Oh my god, that's great." You will find out that you have lice. You will have so many lice on you. And also, it's actually one of the things that is against the law in Australia that police will be very stringent with when it comes to tourists, is that everywhere you go, like Fraser Island is very close to where we are here in Queensland. Fraser Island has its own native dingo population. But all across the island, ticks and lice, yeah, you're good, yeah. Especially the ones from Australia, like the cattle ticks will stick onto a dingo for fucking ages, and you just kind of go, oh god, what the hell is that? But the dingoes just don't give a shit. But even on Fraser Island, the size of your spiders have got me questioning things over there. Yes, Bubby, we have big spiders, but we don't have your aggressive spiders. Like, okay. Oh. Why is it that these things always manage to stick in your teeth so much? We've got spiders that, yes, will chase you if you piss them off. But generally, if you don't piss off any spiders in Australia, they're never going to chase you down. They're just going to be like, oh, okay. You know, they will let you go about your days unmolested. They have no problems. They give no fucks. They find no fucks. And they produce no fucks. But the moment that you start trying to fuck with spiders, yeah, the moment that you start trying to fuck with them, that's when they just go like, no, like they will make sure that you rue the day. But it's never the size of the spiders that you have to worry about. It's the redbacks and the funnel webs. So redbacks are probably the size of your pinky thumb nail. And a redback about that size can fuck your day up and your life. Okay, DJ Fireblaster does bring up a even better point, which is after we had more than 3.5 million lightning strikes in December, I'm more worried about lightning strikes in Queensland than I am animals. So, yeah, and Qualified Wombat has brought up in the YouTube chat, that the redback is actually related to the black widow spiders that you find in America. But black widows tend to be, in terms of temperament and capacity, they're a pretty mellow spider. They're not an aggressive one. Redbacks will be aggressive for anything as simple as like a black widow. From what I've seen and heard, if a black widow's in a glove and you put that glove on, a black widow's going to try and just get away, and they will get away without biting you because they're more about preserving their own life than they are about fucking up anything that's fucked up their day. A redback, however, will go, nah, this is my spot. You know, you're on my fucking stoop, bitch. You know, take this. And DJ Fart Blaster, redbacks and nasty bit. I don't think they're lethal. They just mess you up. Qualified wombat's correct. Depending on the size of the human they bite. Some people actually die from the allergic reaction of the venom that is produced from a redback, as same as the body's reaction to some venoms can be unique to particular people. Some people have enzymes in their blood that allow the progression or the ingestion of the venom to work quicker. And the smaller you are, especially with young kids, they can be out of it very, very quickly. Actually, during one of my hospital visits as a kid, I was in the pediatric ward of a hospital, and there was a kid who had gotten bitten by, I know it was a spider bite. It wasn't a snake bite, but it was actually allergic reaction that had basically got him in for the 2-3 days that he was there. And the first day that he came in there, he was like swollen up, like somebody had, like, it honestly looked like somebody had just gotten like a bike pump, you know, put the tube up his ass and just blown him up. Like his skin was just all stretched out. He was just swollen all over. And it was the reaction from the spider bite. I don't know if it was a redback or whatever it was, but just one of those things. Bad allergic reaction. That can apparently just be half the issue. But it's never really the spiders that are the problem. It's the fucking angry snakes. But much like in America, if you don't anger them, you're never going to have a problem. Also, you're more likely to see snakes and spiders in the US than you are really here. The most you're generally going to see are just a couple of huntsmans, which are non-venomous, just big spiders that go, mind if I grab that fly? I'm just going to take this out. Cool. You know, they don't ever want to fuck with your day. And if you've got cats like we do with ours, like Evie and Dodger, as soon as those spiders are within eyesight of the cats, then all you see is just, and they will spend the entire night trying to get that spider because they don't fucking afraid of anything. Although that said, if I gave Coda half a chance, he would go after the fucking spiders as well. All right. So, okay, we're at about two hours. So I know that I think. Oh, look at that. We got a few things done tonight, which is great. So we've got. Yeah, let's just throw that in there. We have this thing to hand in, I think. DJ Fart Blaster is saying in the Twitch chat, I would die in America and my last words would be pss, 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 towards a mountain lion, bobcat, etc. Okay. Bubby Kai's heading off for the night. You, sir, have yourself a good sleep. Thank you very much for popping in to have a chat. Appreciate it. If I'm streaming again tomorrow, I will fire through the messages out there. But thank you again for early this week. It was a good back and forth, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm kind of with DJ Fart Blaster though. Like, Qualified Wombat saying my last words would be Teddy or Doggy if I came across a bear or a wolf. I do worry about that. That if Wombat and I ever went to America, that all it would really take is like somebody would be like, do you want to meet a wolf? And she would just be like, yes. Okay. So Bobby Kai has said, Bobcat, you'll shit yourself laughing. Mountain lion, aka the cougar. Yes, you're at their whim, murderous cat. And DJ Fart Blast is saying, yeah, they do have the big floofy murder babies. Yeah, unlike other big cats, they look like they want to kill you. From Bubby Kai. I always wonder and think like, yeah, I'd be tempted. I'd be really tempted, but I know that if Wombats and I went to America, that yeah, somebody would be like, do you want to go to the wolf sanctuary? And I'd be the first person saying yes. I'd want to go to the fucking wolf sanctuary. And there would just be this opportunity where like the wolves or the bears would just look at her and she would be like, I found, my fate has been decided. Like, I know like the whole, the Junji Ito story where it's like, this is my hole, I must get in it. There would be that moment for Wombats where she's like, this is my time, this is my moment, I have to go hug that dog. And I wouldn't be able to stop her. It'd be like, it's been a wonderful life with you, but I respect the fact that you must go hug that murder dog or that murder bear. And just, but also at the same time, I think she would just walk in there and just walk up and give them a hug, and people would be like, "Oh my god, we're gonna witness a murder." And she would go in there, hug this wolf or this bear, and give it a scritch behind the ear, and just fucking pimp out of there like an absolute boss. And people would just be like, "What the fuck is happening?" And she'd just be like, "You wanted a scritch, I gave him a scritch." Like it would just be so non-fast. I honestly believe that in my heart of hearts, that Wombat is that type of person, because I don't know, it's something about her that she has that effect on dogs and bears. Well, especially our dog, which is a bear, which is Coda, because Coda's bear. Okay, yeah, it is probably a bit late. Okay, so we've kind of cracked on for about just over 2 hours, and I'm pretty happy. I've managed to do some Diablos, gotten a few other bits and pieces. Ooh, we have Tribute of Ascendance, Resolute. Resolute Tributes only, rewards only the player who offers the tribute. Earn uniques at achievement rank 1 with the chances of a mythic unique. Fuck yeah. Okay. Qualified Wombat with the perfect comment. They know I have the good nails for scritches, which is very true. Even in our house, like the animals come up to come up to wombats because they're like scritches, scritches. And yeah, like Coda can be absolutely tearing around the house like an absolute prick. And wombats can just grab him and start scritching behind the ears, and he just melts. Like it's this big, happy, German Shepherd face, and it just mellows. Just mellows in a moment. I'm definitely going to be holding on to these tributes of Ascendance, and I might. See, the annoying thing is that the Resolute tribute rewards only the player who offers the tribute, which means I wouldn't be able to bring wombats into a game and potentially have uniques or mythic uniques drop for it. I'm sorry. We'll have to see if we can find some of them for you, for your druid. Okay, so it's been a nice little stream. Thank you very much to everybody in the chat. To Stevie Doyle, Qualified Wombat, and DJ Fart Blaster as always. We had OMG Turtles and Bubby Kai pop in as well. I appreciate everybody who's been in and been able to just relax and take it easy. Oh wow, there's actually been bit of behind the scenes stuff. Generally, there's more people on Twitch than YouTube, but YouTube has had a whole bunch of people through tonight as well, so that's nice. If you're out there or watch this later, feel free to talk in the chat, guys. Always happy to have a natter. Thank you. It has been a bit of a rough week. Not just personally, just, it's been a rough week for a lot of work and everything else, but I'm still enjoying doing this and still no smoking. Although this week, trust me, this week was definitely a test of that. But, managed to do all right. We didn't have any problems there. And I am now going to go inside, take it easy for the rest of the night, cuddle up with dogs, and hopefully just chill.
He's pulling his cock out!
I specifically put that in there because I knew DJ Fart Blaster would find the perfect time for it, and he did. He did. And it's also just one of those amazingly beautiful, like, quick ones that just perfectly kind of takes you out of the moment. Same as this. I keep waiting and I keep wanting to use that if Griff ever shows. If Griff ever shows up, I'm just going to be like submitting myself. I'm going to have that goat on like a button. That I'm just going to wait for moments that he's not paying attention and fucking hit him with a goat. Which would just be amusing itself. Just when I thought I was nodding off, I hear somebody was pulling their cock out. We know how to get you back in here, Bubby. We do. No, so yeah, we are finishing out tonight, but if anything, we'll see how we're going tomorrow. If there's no major things going on, I'm going to do a stream. That sound is... See, it was saying... I don't know what the fuck that noise is. Oh, it's another follower. See, it's weird because... okay, thank you very much for the follow, Dr_Myers9TTV. I don't know who you are. But thank you. Oh, oh, Bubby. Oh, God, my partner just woke up. I'm done for, crow, you bastard. That was so loud. I ended up back in chat. Oh, well, I've just, I've just ruined a few people's nights. Doc Myers just going through some D4 streamers to watch. Thank you very much. Like, yeah, I am by no means an expert at Diablo 4, but I like to just chill out, kill some demons, have some fun, and especially when it comes to Aussie. Doc, we talk about the correct use of the word using a C bomb if you're an Aussie or from the UK. So just beware of that. But let me know what you think. But that is it for the night. Thank you very much to everybody who's popped in, for any follows, all of the messages in chat. I appreciate it a lot, and thank you. It's just fun to hang out with a whole run of new people. Oh, actually from Sydney. Well, Doc, you gotta let me know. Answering the phone with "sup cunt" for an Australian is the same as just like, mate, what's going on? Isn't it? Like, it's not too much. Come on. It's gotta be. It's like it's one of those things. I just feel Australians understand that a C-bomb like that is always met with affection and care and love. That it's not about the causticness of the word. It's about the use of the word. But finishing out for the night. Yep, my mates use it. Yes, there we go. The Aussie and English way for using a C-bomb is the absolute correct way. The Americans have it wrong. It's traditional. Yes. There we go. All right. So we're finishing up tonight. Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you have a great night. Hope you have a great weekend. We will be doing some more. We'll be doing some more probably in about 12 to 15 hours from now. But let's just play things by ear. Thank you very much. Have a great night and enjoy your weekend ahead.